Welcome back to Reddit Discover channel. Dear deep sea fishers of Reddit, what's the strangest thing you've seen/heard on the open ocean? I was fishing off the coast of Malaysia in the middle of the night. Suddenly, the night sky brightened and I saw a bright glowing orb appear to the bow. The orb moved slowly across the sky, leaving a bright yellow trail and seemed to have sparks coming off it for about 20 seconds before disappearing into the night. After getting back to shore, I learned that it was a retired Japanese satellite re-entering the atmosphere. Same thing happened to me off the coast of Australia. We were fishing in the dark, and then gradually the night sky brightened, and I saw a bright glowing orb appear to the bow. The orb moved slowly across the sky, and gave off a tremendous amount of heat. After getting back to shore, we realized it was now Sunday. It's cool that you actually found out what it was. The story is so much more interesting than if it were to end so probably aliens. Wow, that would have been pretty cool to see. I do a lot of night fishing off of SC and FL. I get a lot of fish that are bitten in half by sharks. Some of them had to have been very, very large. When you reel in a large sportfish's head like some kind of sequel to The Old Man and the Sea and realize the shark is close to half the size of your boat miles and miles offshore, essentially in the middle of nowhere, you get more than a little freaked out. 11 years ago, scientists tagged a 500 kilograms great white off the SW coast of Australia. According to the data from the tracker, it was determined it swam off the edge of the Australian continental shelf and started to dive to a great depth. Then something ate it. You're gonna need a bigger boat. I'm a diver. We were doing a night dive on the Great Barrier Reef when we came up to a cave-like structure, really just a rock formation, which is known for turtles. We shine our flashlights inside and see these huge fecking flippers. In there was a 100-year-old turtle about the size of a small car, in diameter. This isn't anything like the supernatural stories that you were probably after, but I found it very strange. Edit, we knew the age because we were told beforehand that there was a large 100-year-old turtle in the area. We weren't expecting anything as big as we saw, however. I've fallen asleep on a beach before and woken up to a massive sea turtle maybe 10 feet from me. I assume it was digging a nest to lay eggs, but it was too dark and I was too drunk to know for sure. What I can tell you is that if you aren't expecting to see an animal that size up close, then it can be pretty frightening/alarming. We were doing a night dive on the Great Barrier Reef. How do you return to the surface with massive balls made of steel? Not one bit of that sounds like a good idea to me. I had a friend who was stranded in a rowboat for a couple of days. He got pretty dehydrated, and later told us of these wild hallucinations of beautiful female water spirits encouraging him to join them in the water. It was strange because he was one of those no-nonsense guys who didn't believe in the supernatural, but he said these things were so real to him. Edit changed hydrated to dehydrated, thanks Ludiak. Sirens. But no joke, dehydration and sun exposure will feck you up. Glad he's okay. How are we glossing over the stranded in a rowboat story? Any more details? I too hallucinate when hydrated. I had a friend who would go deep sea fishing and stay out at sea for days at a time. He told me that at times he would hear some of the most bizarre, unearthly noises ever out there at night and assured me that there must be things out there we have no idea of. Considering we apparently know more about what's on the moon than we know about what's in our own oceans, I'm inclined to agree with him. Things on the moon, 0. Things in the ocean, hella. Maybe if you had 350 you'd know what made the sound. My dad and I were fishing off the Florida Keys. We had our anchor out and been fishing for about an hour. 15 minutes later the boat gets bumped and we rock a little bit. My dad jokes saying looks like Jaws is after us, better stay away from the edges. 10 seconds after him saying that the boat begins moving backwards, we are being towed by our anchor line that's in the water. Whatever has it is now dragging the boat backwards, slowly getting faster, and our boat get pulled under too. Next thing I hear is no fecking way as my dad drops his pole, runs from the front to the back, grabs a knife and cuts the anchor line. After that we decided that fishing was not in the cards that day. I can't believe I am even writing this. I had the exact same thing happen to me and my ex-father-in-law in Moreton Bay, QLD, Australia. I'm gonna call a Mulder on this one and say I want to believe. Unfortunately, I don't think I should. Sad face. Went charter fishing in the Keys and something similar happened to us. Was scary as hell. On the way home I jokingly played the Jaws theme on my phone and scared everyone else. I was sitting in a little boat off Gran Canaria once, when I heard a strange whirring noise, like when kids stick playing cards through the spokes on their bike. I heard it a few times and wondered what it was. And then it hit me. It was a flying fish. It literally hit me, and then floundered around the boat for a few seconds before I picked it up and hurled it back. Those things are goddamned weird. Its wings were gross. I remember I was on vacation in the Caribbean, heading for Curacao I think, when we were allowed to go to the very tip of the bow. Whenever I peeked over the railing I saw flying fish. Jumping up in front of us, often going faster than our ship. It amazed me, because not only were we going pretty fast, they were in the air for so long as well. Those things are goddamned weird. Its wings were gross. LOL. They're cool, though. Apparently they can fly for up to 50 meters, I think it was.